Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Jose Mourinho performed another stellar masterclass over his arch rival Pep Guardiola in the Premier League yesterday. Tottenham 2, Manchester City 0, giving Pep Guardiola his worst start to a league campaign in his entire history. 50% of the points available to Pep Guardiola's men have been dropped. And yesterday, as we say, was a vintage Jose Mourinho performance. We're going to jump into this new shape that's been created within the approach of Jose Mourinho. This Convex Polygon shape that he has created that involves Son and Harry Kane interchanging positions and being exceedingly fluid throughout the course of the game. It's creating havoc, it's making them dangerous, and it's the very reason that Tottenham are flying high and are going to challenge for the Premier League title. Do me a big favor, hit the like and the share button. I want your thoughts and feelings on this, but let's jump straight into it. So looking at some footage here, 64 minutes in, and we can see the ball played to Harry Kane. See here on the counter-attack, this shape. This is the Convex Polygon, and you'll see this throughout the course of the game. And what's really interesting to focus on at this point is you have Harry Kane in the position on the ball that we're going to sort of circle and move around here. You have Lo Celso on the left-hand side, you have Son on the right, and you have Bergwijn running through the center. But what's really interesting about this is when we go through the other clips throughout the course of this video, you will see that these players are interchanging. So there is fluidity within the rigid structure. It's absolutely genius from Jose Mourinho. The game will continue to progress, the ball's played out wide, and then bang, the ball's in the back of the net. But what's interesting to see here, and I really want to highlight Harry Kane, is the position that he took up on the edge of the box. This shows the system discipline that Jose Mourinho has created. Harry Kane in years gone by would have busted a gut to make sure that he was in the box, but he isn't doing that. And you'll see that throughout the course of this video, that the Tottenham players are now very, very comfortable with dropping deep, dropping wide, going into central positions, but covering one another at all times. And this is happening with multiple areas on the pitch. Bergwijn will jump back into a left-back position if Reguilon goes forward. Harry Kane will go into the 10 role, and Son or Bergwijn will run into that traditional number 9 area. But everybody knows their jobs. This is starting to look like vintage Inter Milan in the way that people know the zones and the areas of the pitch that they need to occupy and dominate. So we're going to take a look here at the opening goal scored by Son. It's Pep Guardiola giving his instructions. And what's really intriguing to me about this is that you again can see the shape. You have Bergwijn out here on this left-hand side. There is Son at this point that is in the number 9 position. There is, if the screen was wide enough, a player just out here. Okay, just out here on this side, covering these areas, making some width to give the four-pronged approach. Now, this is typically a midfielder that jumps into this position, but it is interchangeable, so it's oriented on a number of occasions as well. And at the same time, Harry Kane there, you can see, drop back into the number 10 position. So if we compare that to the Son goal, players taking up very different areas on the pitch. In the build-up to the Son goal, you very much saw Bergwijn in the 10, Son on the right, Kane again in that number 10 position, and Lo Celso on the right-hand side. And this is where that fluidity and that interchange comes in. But on every single Tottenham attack, you will see this Convex Polygon take shape at one point or another to create the angles needed. And of course, the beauty that led to this goal was also the beautiful dummy and run to deep by Harry Kane. And something that's kind of underestimated when it comes to Harry Kane is his ability to do that. And I want to click here and focus on the two City defenders that were also, and midfielders that were sucked in. These individuals ended up out of position, and they ended up creating this huge gulf of space for Son to be able to run into and exploit. All of this area is then opened up simply because these individual players were dragged out by the run from Harry Kane. But that run deep by Harry Kane is actually something he's done a lot in his career. But you now add that to the fluid structure of this Convex Polygon that Jose Mourinho has created. It causes a nightmare because Son knows that he then needs to go and fill that position. People always follow Harry Kane because of his technical ability. They don't want to see him on the ball, and it's creating havoc. The ball over the top from Ndombele, by the way, absolutely sensational to set this goal up. No doubt about it. We're going to take a look here. This is really good press, but also structural position here from Tottenham. They win the ball back with Harry Kane, and then bang, there you see it. There it is. The Convex Polygon again. They win the ball back. They get into those positions. But can you see another change? More fluidity within the structure of Jose Mourinho's approach here. This time, you see Ndombele move into that left-hand side of the attack. You see Bergwijn take a central position, and Harry Kane is starting to maneuver himself towards the right-hand side. Son in that, what you'd call a traditional number 10 role. At the same time, width is then going to be created up near the top by Serge Aurier. He's got the ability, if he wants to be able to run in this direction down here and create problems. Because there's all this space here for him to run into. Why? Because Man City have been suckered in and outmaneuvered by Tottenham at this moment in time. So now the game motors on forward. Really good dribbling here by Bergwijn, who now finds himself on this left-hand side. As we mentioned, Serge Aurier has got all the space he wants in the world here on this right-hand side. You now have Son, who's moved himself more into this number 10 position. You've got Harry Kane, who's driving through the middle as well. Look how many City players. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them here suckered into the ball, giving a lot of time and space and freedom in the middle to Son and Harry Kane. So we watch this continue. Not a great touch from Son, and then the ball ended up being cleared. But it shows you how quickly they can win the ball and how quickly they can motorize into an attack using this system. Probing here. This is 11 minutes in. Tottenham keeping their shape, and bang, Reguilon there breaks onto the ball and wins it. I want to freeze something for you right here in a moment. You see Bergwijn on the ball. Have you noticed? Let's just go back and look at that just for a second again. So what you'll notice is Reguilon push forward, and Bergwijn just sits in behind him in this position here. We mentioned earlier the interchange. So you see Bergwijn sitting himself into this left back position, because if Tottenham lose the ball, Jose Mourinho will not allow an area of the pitch to become exposed. So as Reguilon, who you see here, pushes forward, it is Bergwijn's job to fixate and cover this area, to ensure that this area of the pitch here is completely and utterly taken care of. That becomes his job and his responsibility. As things push forward though, Bergwijn receives the ball, and you see Reguilon goes back into his left back position. Now possession is being kept here nicely. Spurs are not trying to force the issue. This is where their rigid shape takes place. This is where everybody knows to get into their positions, to get into their areas, to ensure that there's a pass on and available for players at all times. Of course, technical ability is needed. That is wonderful there in the middle. The ball's being worked out brilliantly, and then bang, it's out to that right-hand side. And then as they come forward, you can see it there again. The shape has created itself. Serge Aurier this time is on that right-hand side. He did that very, very regularly in the game. Harry Kane has now dropped into that number 10 position. Bergwijn, that we saw earlier in a left-back role, is now back to his preferred position on the left, sort of inside forward position. And Son is taking up residence as the main number 9. Play is now switched. There's all that space to run into. Wonderful play. And then bang, the ball comes in. And look, it's very, very unfortunate that Harry Kane was offside, because this would have been one of the most well-worked and wonderful goals. Very much not counter-attack either. Counter-attack for me is 2-3 movements, passes from defending into an attack in an offensive position. But there was patient play in this. There was wonderful build-up, brilliant positioning, and of course excellent play by multiple Tottenham players. Ndombele, Serge Aurier switch, Bergwijn cutting inside. But what brought this all together again was the Convex Polygon shape with fluidity surrounding it. So you've got the shape, which is important, but if your shape is if there's too much of a subscription, so only Harry Kane can be in the number 9 position, only Son can be in the number 10 role, it makes it very predictable. When it's predictable, it's easy for teams to defend against, and Jose Mourinho is creating something very, very special here. And the final piece I want to look at, you see Tottenham probing, nice bit of skill on the edge of the box. As they break in, bang. There you see it. 7:58 minutes on the clock. Serge Aurier this time, again, part of the right-hand side attack, which is excellent. You know he's being covered by a midfielder in his defensive roles. That is a dot on the cards when it comes to a Jose Mourinho team. Harry Kane this time finds himself in the traditional number 9 role, as it were. He's kind of being blocked off. And then you see Son in that number 10 position at the edge of the box. We showed a clip earlier where this was being done in exactly the same way, but with Harry Kane in that number 10 position. And if you watch closely, you will continue to see the convex polygon for all times when it comes to Jose Mourinho's side. It's the shape of which they're creating, but that fluidity, flexibility, and interchange between the individual players is what brings the shape to life. And this is something that always goes on undiscussed, really, when it comes to systems and tactics and the way teams are playing, is the manager can set it up. The manager can put the tactics out there, but it's about the players buying into it. And the most dangerous thing about Tottenham Hotspur at the moment is the fact that every single one of these players appears to be completely bought into the idea of playing for Jose Mourinho and listening to him. I'm genuinely getting shades of Inter Milan in terms of the togetherness, the sort of siege mentality where it's us against the world. We're going to play our way. It may not be the most beautiful on the eye in terms of obvious beauty, but when you start to study the way Tottenham are playing, it's masterful. It truly, truly is. Do me a big favor. Please hit that like button. Please hit the share button. It's so important to the Football Terrace. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon.